G'day fellas, and welcome to a much requested video. It's been more than 2 years since our last one. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for a tier list. We got lots of units to go through today. We're going to be going through the ARM as well as the core. Let me just pull this bad boy up right here. You can see we got all the units. Now, we're not going to be going from S tier all the way down to D tier. Instead, we're going to be going from like our tier 1 units and then moving down into our tier 2s and then our tier 3. So that's going to be the game plan for today. We're going to be talking about everything, and we're going to be watching this game as well. It's quite a long one, so I don't know if we'll get to the end of it, but nonetheless, it'll be a good video for us to watch nonetheless. Anyway, let's get into it and talk about some of these units. So we'll start off with the bot lab because, well, we're opening bots here. We're playing tier 1. It's going to be from the perspective of a Supreme player, because obviously that's primarily what I'm playing at the moment. Keep in mind, this probably changes for other maps or other metas. But let's get into it. So we're going to start off with the very first unit that you'll see coming out of this bot lab other than the Constructor, and of course that is going to be the Lazarus. You already know exactly where this bad boy is going. It's going in S+. This unit is just a complete game changer. Incredibly powerful unit. You want to ideally start with bots just because you can get access to the Lazarus. There's no unit that is like the Lazarus. There's no counterpart to it. Obviously the core has got a counterpart, but vehicles don't have a counterpart. So a huge decision that you're going to be making early is going to be about whether you want this or not. It's got a massive amount of build power, has the ability to reclaim trees, rocks, but most importantly can rejuvenate or resurrect targets specifically, and there are entire strategies, entire playstyles. The entire meta is built around this unit specifically and its ability to res. So one of the things that's incredibly important, especially on the front, is that you've got at least a handful of these guys just running around, and one of the great things about them is that they are great all game. They are good no matter what happens to you. They're always going to be getting value, whether they're repairing, whether they're just reclaiming. It really doesn't matter. The point is, if you've got them, you're going to have a huge amount of value. So that's the first unit that we're going to be talking about. The second unit, can you believe it? We're starting off strong with 2 S+ tier units. It's the Tick, or the Flea. Another incredibly powerful unit. And part of the reason why is because of its line of sight, its speed, and its cost. It is so cheap, so affordable. The only real downside to this unit is the fact that it is actually countered by the Juno. Now, a lot of people don't... Well, there's a joke in high OS that you don't unlock the Juno until you reach 45 OS. So I will say right now, try and build the Juno if you're up against an opponent who is building lots of ticks, but they're just such a powerful unit. Their ability to get past the front line, their ability to squeeze their way somewhere that they shouldn't be. They're only ever really caught by one unit. I guess technically they can be caught by the Shuriken as well from the core, but the vehicle scout is also quite quick and is able to catch them and run them down. But despite that, they are just incredibly annoying to deal with because let's say they do make their way over to Geo or C. It means Geo's going to have to start making units. The Shuriken's going to have to come through. It's just a very frustrating unit to have to deal with. And it's incredibly powerful throughout the game. There's a lot of combos that rely on this. The Starlight combo, as an example, relies on it just because of how important it is to make sure that you've got line of sight coming through and you've got units that are going to be targeted by enemy units. That's another great thing about it, that because it's a very cheap cost, it can super duper easily just be thrown at the enemy and you're not going to have to worry too much about losing it. Okay, so that's that all sorted out. Let's talk about our next unit. The bot lab is just an incredible lab, so let's start by saying that. I think we might move into let's go with this is called the Jethro in TA. What's it? I don't actually know what it's called in Beyond All Reason. But this is an anti-air bot. Now, one of the reasons why I'm putting this in A tier, which kind of seems strange, right, is because of your ability to just spam it, right? Like, let's say there's a raid coming in. You just drop a bot lab, spam these bad boys out. They can move. That's the key thing, but you can get a lot of them out, and you can move them over the entirety of your Supreme Island. So if you want to control airspace and you want to do it affordably, these guys are very effective at doing that. One of the other things I like to do in the late game is just have a lab that's literally spamming these and sending them to the front line. It's a great way to protect other units. They're affordable, you can throw them away, and they're just kind of like ticks in that regard. It's kind of like having a pawn almost that just shoots at the air. So I'm a big fan of these units. And the main reason why I prioritize them here is the fact that you're just very easily able to respond to an enemy threat with an actual unit that can move, can cover area. So I think it's a great unit to have and a really important reactionary unit. So we're going to throw that bad boy in the A tier. So next up, what do we got coming in? We could go for the Centurion. The Centurion's a bit of an interesting one because this is a unit that's kind of risen and fallen and risen once again. when it comes to Supreme. It is incredibly powerful on the front. And because of that, I'm kind of tempted right now to throw it in the A tier as well. There's a part of me that almost is thinking about the S tier for this unit. However, it does fall off as the game gets longer, right? Because ideally, you're going to be replacing that role with the Zeus or with the... what's this unit called? You'll have to excuse me. The name doesn't always sit with me. It's that one. The T2 Lightning Bot. And yeah, so eventually they'll be replaced out or phased out. So it's not something that you're going to be spamming all game, but incredibly powerful in the early game. Ability to kite the commander, ability to really control any kind of spam that comes out from your opponent, whether that be ticks, whether that be pawns, whether that be vehicles. They're just a powerhouse. And the other big thing about this unit is it's got a very low build power cost, which means it's very effective to actually repair this unit. The more I talk about it, the more I want to move it into the S tier, but at the risk of putting everything in like the S plus and S tier for the bot lab. I mean, the bot lab is just obviously incredible, but you know what? I feel like I have to do it. It's an incredibly powerful unit. One unit that is not so powerful though, I don't know once again what it's called in Beyond All Reason. I know in TA what it's called. It's called the Hammer. It's this one right here. I will just say right now, if you want to go into this unit, the light artillery unit, just go into thugs instead, or thug. They're called Thud back in TA. Go into the thugs instead. Just a better unit. If I remember correctly, got slightly more health on them, lower build power as well, so they repair faster. You can still make them, absolutely, but it's not the reason why we should be going a bot lab, right? Like, we shouldn't be dropping down the bot lab with our plan to go into Lazarus and then make 100 of these. It just doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, it can work, right? But it's just one of those things where it's, you know, you probably better off doing it with core. Let's just put it that way. If there was a unit that you did want to spam, however, I will say right now, one of the units that you could get away with is the Rocco. Rocco, another great unit for the front line in Beyond All Reason, especially towards the front of Supreme. So we're going to throw it in the A tier here. It's a very skill-dependent unit, so you've got to be quite talented, or not quite talented, but you've got to be paying attention to your units here. You can't just kind of set and forget them and leave them because they will die quickly. But at the same time, if your opponent does that, then they are going to have quite a bit of trouble because this unit does have a high damage for the amount of the amount that you're paying for it. So definitely another strong unit. Has the ability to push light laser turrets, which is incredibly important, and even beamers you can push with it. So you can get quite a lot of damage in there as long as you've got those Lazarus behind that are repairing or the commander behind that's repairing. It's going to be going great for you. And then finally, we've got the Pee-wee. At least I think it's finally. I'll have to double check and make sure. But the Pee-wee, another interesting one because it is... Or, sorry, not the Pee-wee. It's the Grunt. Is it the Grunt? It might not be the Grunt. As I said, like, the TA names are seared into my brain. The Beyond All Reason ones, they are not. So it's one of those things where it's like, yeah. But anyway, called the Pee-wee in TA. This unit is just incredibly... powerful. The ability to spam it in the early game to secure space, in the mid game to guarantee that you've got bodies to block enemy units or enemy shots, and then of course in the late game it is incredible because it actually doesn't go through, or the Juno can't kill it. So it's basically your lowest cost unit that you can spam that is immune to the Juno. And that's important, right? Because once you get to a higher level where people have got Junos and they're just spamming them on repeat. So basically if you get 2 Junos and you put them onto repeat, so down here, this button right here, if you click that on both of the Junos, and if they're on alternating recharge cycles, so basically if one's at 50% and the other one's at 100%, you can basically Juno an area forever. And I specifically like structure my Junos to do that. And so I will have 4 Junos completely covering the mid. There will never be a tick that gets through on either side. But one of the ways that you can get around that is just by spamming the pawn. And that's part of the reason why it is quite good, is because it can get around that. It's one of your lower cost units. It's also just a really good unit to have. It's quick, it's annoying to deal with. And so that's part of the reason why it sits up in the S tier. So let's talk a little bit more about early game. I don't think there's any more T1 K-bots that are in here. I think I got them all. I hope. So now we're going to be moving into T1 vehicles. We'll start off with the Shell Shocker. And the Shell Shocker is not particularly strong. Once again, it's similar to the Hammer in that if you want to go into this unit, the same with this, just go into the core variant. And don't get me wrong, right? Like, there's combos that you can do. Like, you can go Janus combination with like with the Shell Shocker. But compared to the Wolverine, the Shell Shocker has got such a significantly lower AoE and just general output of damage that it doesn't really seem viable. It's almost like if you want a unit to do that, just ask your ally to give you a core constructor and just make them. Not really. They still serve a purpose, right? But the truth is it's just nowhere near as strong as the Wolverine. So that's where I'm going to put that. I mean, it can be used to take out enemy buildings at a distance, right? And you know, you can put the Dragon's Teeth down and the Janus together with that and the light laser turrets, and you can get a nice little combo that gets going. But it's one of those things that's quite niche. However, one of the things that isn't niche, and I will say that right now, is the Janus. Another incredibly powerful unit. Tempted to put it in S+. I think when we initially did our tier list, we put the Janus quite low. Things changed a lot for me personally since then. I played quite a bit of Frontline, in particular against like high OS opponents, and just playing against the Janus, you really come to respect how powerful it is. And that if you don't respect the Janus, you will be punished incredibly for it. Its ability to snipe commanders is just amazing. It is probably one of the best commander sniping units, especially at T1, that there is. And often, like, you will know that you're dead 15 seconds before you're dead, and you can't do anything about it because the Januses are just going to get you. So that is the reality of the Janus, just incredibly powerful. The main thing that you're doing with the Janus is like cycling them in and out. So imagine that you're kind of like running an oval shape where on the top of the oval, you're engaging and getting your rockets off. And then on the bottom side of the oval, you're going to be repairing the Janus and making sure that it stays alive. And basically that's all you're doing over and over and over again and just working down your opponent. You don't need to have a lot of them, like 3, 4, 5 Janus is more than enough to do the damage that you need to do, and you can just continue to cycle and push your enemy down even further. So very powerful unit. Okay, next unit that we've got that is also a powerful unit, it is the Lasher, or I think it might even be called the Slasher right now. I don't think this is going to be quite in the S tier. It's going to go once again in the A tier for a similar reason to the Jethro, but primary difference being that this can also fire at land units, and it's quite powerful. I remember back in like original TA, you would just spam this unit, and I always wondered when I came to Bar, like, how come people aren't just spamming the Slashers? And then like about 3 months afterwards, people started realizing like, hey, we can just spam this unit and there's really not a lot you can do about it. It's incredible because it tracks units, right? Like it has the ability to target units in fog of war, and the missiles hit and they focus down those targets very well. So once you start building up a good number, let's say like 8, 9, 10, you're able to dish out really decent damage and just constantly chip away at the enemy. So that's part of the reason why I think it's just a powerful unit. For the same reason why the Jethro is good in the sense that you can spam them, get really good coverage out, the Slasher is also very good at doing that as well. Another unit that I think is probably going to be maybe a bit controversial just because I love this unit. I think it's really good, but I appreciate it's quite a niche usage, and that is the Pincer. The Pincer we're going to be putting in the B tier. I think the Pincer is a great unit. It has really good use cases, right? Like we've used it plenty of times, hitting multiple players, multiple targets. I've killed Geo players before entirely just with pincers. But the truth is, when it comes to the Pincer, it's very, very specific to that timing. Within like the first 5 to 6 minutes, that's pretty much your window to do damage with it. Any later on in the game, it's really not going to be worth it. And look, it's good at its job, but it is also easily counterable. It requires very specific circumstances to actually meet its like basically for you to do damage with it. There's very specific circumstances. Your enemy needs to not have an LLT in the position. They need to not be scouting. They need to make sure that there's no Skeeter that's nearby that's got the sonar coverage. There's all these like little boxes that you need to tick before you can actually guarantee that you're going to be able to do damage with it. And because of that, we put it in the B tier. There's no guarantee. Now, one of the units that I kind of struggle placing is the Jeffy, or the Rascal, as it's called. I'm thinking maybe towards the A tier. It's a scout. It's similar to the Tick, but one of the things to note is it just doesn't feel as spammable as the Tick. And look, now it's nice because it's a vehicle. The core actually get access to one as well. But yeah, I think it's nice because it's a vehicle. So if you want to go into vehicles, like you've got that option there, and it's great in the sense that it's that scout that provides the line of sight and it's quick. But compared to the Tick, I think it's the turning radius on it makes it more difficult, not more difficult to control, but it just makes it not as good as the Tick. And it just comes down to that turning radius. You can't turn around. If you run into trouble, you're pretty much done with it. So it means that while, yes, it's the fastest unit that you'll have, with the exception of like the Shuriken in the early game, there's limited circumstances where you can well, not necessarily limited circumstances where you can get value, but there's less circumstances than where the tick would find value, if that makes sense. We've got some nice little tumbleweed action happening right now. I've been enjoying the tumbleweeds a lot. You can literally just kill a player completely if you hit correctly with the tumbleweeds. And you can see right here, we've managed to make it through, but unfortunately, they're on the ball, so our tumbleweeds don't make it to the position, and for some reason, there's just like 9 tiger tanks just sitting on advanced geo. Fair enough, advanced geo, you do your thing. Where are we going to from here? All right, next up, we've got the Stumpy, which is another one of those units where, like, I kind of want to put it towards the A tier because it's a powerful unit, but it's also something that I feel is a bit of a crutch, and often people will fall into the mistake of making it when they probably shouldn't. It's a really good unit, okay? But it has niche circumstances as well, compared to the other units. Oh, you know what? I've got to throw it in A. I can't be not putting it in A. The Stumpy is incredibly powerful because it takes a lot of firepower to kill it. However, one of the issues that you've got is that they kind of all stack up on top of each other, so they're very, very weak to commanders. And, like, I've had games where I've had, like, 30 or 40 Stumpies, and a single commander has just been like, D-gun, 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 com-bomb, dead. And your entire push is just gone. And that's one of the risks that you run, is you sink a lot of metal into this unit, and then you just kind of feed it, right? Like, it's a very feedable unit. And because of that, it's one of those things where it's a great unit to have, but it also requires quite a lot of skill to understand exactly when and how to use it. And because of that, that's where I'm like, that primary reason is where I'm like, okay, maybe it shouldn't be in the A tier. You know what? I'm going to put it down to the B tier. But I will say that there's definitely, like, when it comes to the arm, going for this unit is a smart move. I'm really not a fan of the Bulldog or the Bull, and it's almost a substitute for it. Okay, lastly, we've got the Mine Layer. Now, the Mine Layer is an underused unit. I saw a comment from somebody on the Discord that was like, I've got 3,000 hours in bar and I've never once made a Mine Layer. And I think you could definitely get through your bar games without ever making a Mine Layer. But I will say right now that there are niche circumstances for it. So especially if you've lost a C or if you want to defend. So let's say in this example, like we've got snipers that are coming out right now and they're looking to defend this position over here. One of the alternatives that we could do is look to go into those mine layers and lay a whole bunch of mines down here so that in the event that, you know, platypus or marauders were going to come through, that we'd be able to mitigate some of that damage. So that's essentially the mindset behind it. They're obviously preventative, but you do need to be cautious with them just because they do take up quite a bit of space. They're particularly good down towards the south on the... oh, can you guys see? I don't know if you can see my cursor. There we go. Yeah, so down towards this little position over here, they're quite good because you've got a lot of room that you can put them out in. So yeah, they're decent. I'm tempted to even bring them down from B just to C. So let's go ahead. Let's do that. All right. So we've gone through the T1 for vehicles, the T1 for bots. T1 time. Do we go quickly into hovers? I mean, hovers is going to be a real quick one. You guys will know I'm a fan of hovercrafts, at least just to try and attack. Snipe out players, get rid of them. They serve a similar role to pincers, at least in the way that I use them. So we're going to start off with the Seeker. I think the Seeker's decent at spam in the late game, but for the moment, you can see we've got some actual comments in here. Now he goes full Drongo. I mean, we've put out some damage, right? Like, the idea is that we want to attack yellow, do a little bit of damage so that he's like, I'm getting 2v1 on C. We're also holding off over here. We can go full Drongo now. That's all right. We're allowed to go full Drongo. Never go full Drongo. No, it's okay. So where were we? We were talking about the Seeker. So yeah, kind of, the Seeker's kind of nice to be able to spam, and it's good to have decent little raids with, but it's very easily stopped by Shuriken. So you do need to pair them with the Sweeper. If you don't, they will just be shut down completely by that. So I will say B tier. The Sweeper, very expensive. So while, yes, it moves and while it shoots air, incredibly expensive. I'm almost tempted to put it in D tier. The fact that it does go across both water and land is the only reason why we can stick it in the C tier. But you wouldn't want to spam these bad boys unless you were going for like a real big hovercraft attack, which you probably shouldn't be doing anyway. I'd just wait for Titans, if I'm being real with you. Let's move into the next hovercraft. It's going to be the rocket launcher hovercraft. I think it's called the Possum. We're going to throw this in the C tier as well. There's a couple of niche uses for this. What is going on with our screen right there? Oh, we're about to blow stuff up. So a couple niche uses for it. So number one is denying the Geo in GOC. That is one of the uses. You can also use it to hit other things, but it's very, very awkward. I've seen someone try and spam them on front. He was like 25 OS as well. And there was a part of me that was like, hey, this could be really cool if you could predict where the enemy was going to go, but you can't really do that. And you can see my ally reminding me, no anti-nuke again. We're at 20 minutes and there's no anti-nuke, and I'm like, oh my lord. I keep forgetting to put it down because I get distracted. So we gotta rush up our anti-nuke here. So that's definitely it. Now, I will say that there are some rocket launcher vehicles like the Merle, which is the ARM T2 vehicle, that is quite powerful, and that is largely due to the range of the vehicle, whereas the Possum here, not as powerful just because of the distinct lack of range. Is that all the hovercraft that we've got? 1, 2, 3 hovercraft? I feel like we're missing one. So we may come back and do... Oh, you know what we are missing? We're missing the Flash from the T1 vehicles. How could I forget the Flash? Get up there, buddy. S tier? No, we couldn't put him S tier. I think A tier. The Flash is similar to the Stumpy. The primary difference here is the speed, right? Like in 1v1, this unit is just incredible because it's fast. It's got the ability to put out a lot of damage, and it's super quick. So those are the primary reasons why it's good. The trouble with straights is that you're kind of limited with the front. So there's definitely a world where you can do a big run by and you know, do a lot of damage to the enemy, and they're quite annoying to deal with early on. But there's a part of me that even wants to pull that down. I'm going to pull it down to B tier. It's one of those units that you just really don't need to make under most circumstances. So I will say that right now. Okay, what else have we got in here for T1? We've gone through the hovercraft. We could talk about air, ARM air in particular. So number 1 is the Fink. Do I put it in S tier? It's a scout. And the reason why scouts are really important is because they tell what you're... like, well, what the enemy is doing. Now, one of the other cool things that you can do with these scouts is you can park them up the back here over on the plateau or over here on the side, and you can just you can jump up and see what your enemy is up to. And let me get that off the screen, sorry. And you can see what your enemy's up to, and you can stay up there, and they don't even know that you're up there, which is kind of wild. So there's a part of me that really wants to put that at S+ tier. Now, I'm not gonna do that, just primarily because we should really be reserving S+ tier to like the best units, but I am going to put it in the S tier. Now, other units that we can put in the S tier here is definitely the Freedom Fighter, which is the T1 fighter for ARM, better than the T1 fighter for core, and definitely a spammable unit, right? If you don't want to go T2 for ARM, because you don't have a T2 core bot or a T1 core bot, or a T2 core con, I should say, then you could definitely stay on T1 ARM fighters. Super duper strong unit, ability to control a lot of air, a lot of space, quick, incredibly powerful. However, compared to the Bomber, which we've got right here, this is a unit that almost under every single circumstance you should avoid. There are a couple of niche circumstances where you may want to use this, but generally, especially from like an eco-tech position, even a geo position, you should ask a core player, hey, can I please grab a core constructor? Even if you plan on making like 10 of them, I would still make core bombers. Just because this bomber it's that bad. It is that damn bad. The amount of times I've just made this bomber and been like, hell yeah, brother, and then it's just done half the damage that I expected, it makes me really sad. So because of that, it's going in the D tier. Not particularly strong. Ask for a core constructor if you possibly can get it. Even if you're at like the 6-minute mark, still do it. You can see we've got the Junos coming up now, which is absolutely lovely. We don't actually have buildings here for the ARM tier list. We've only got the units. But anyway, where do we go to next? We can go to the Banshee, which is the T1 gunship. And realistically, I feel like this unit's probably on the lower end. Like, there is definitely some circumstances where, hey, it can be like pretty cool or pretty annoying or pretty funny to have, right? Like, I've seen high-level players send 1 or 2 over to the enemy and just distract them and annoy them, but they're quite niche uses. And people can often fall into the crutch of getting a whole bunch of them out and then just getting their butt whooped. When the reality is you probably shouldn't be making the Banshee under pretty much any circumstance other than like your 46 OS plus, and you've decided, hey, I'm going to do a Banshee because it's going to be funny here. And it also might work out well. So yeah, that's essentially it. Now, we could technically at this stage go into the ships, but I will just provide this caveat, okay? So we got all the ships down here. I don't really know what the role of these ships are on water just yet. I don't have a complete understanding of it at this stage. We should also move this guy up here as well. I know that the destroyer is good, but it's you don't want it being attacked by things. So you want the assault cruiser in front, and you don't want to, like, the lurker is good to go and attack people from the side. There's all these different factors, but the truth is I don't have enough experience on the sea, so I don't want to be putting out information to people where I don't have a good understanding of it. So I'm not going to be putting the C units in here, at least the C units that I don't know. We might touch on a couple of T2 units because I do have a hot take right now. It's about the Flagship. You're probably not going to like it, and I will explain it thoroughly as to why I think this unit may not be as good as some people do actually think it is. Don't get me wrong, it's good, but there's a time and a place, and now is not the time nor the place. Even 25 minutes into the game, I feel like, hey, yeah, you're wasting your time. Anyway, that's been it for the T1s, I think. Now we can look at T1.5. Actually, we've got the Stalk in here. S+ tier. I mean, it's a transport, right? Like, it's super duper good. Really important, very cheap, gives you lots of flexibility with all your construction turrets and all of your units. Really, really nice to have. So we'll throw it in the S tier. You know what? We'll throw it in the A tier. There you go. We could probably live without it eventually. We'd find our way through. So seaplanes. Quickly, we can talk about the seaplanes. The seaplanes. Where is my favorite seaplane, and why can't I see him? I'm looking for the torpedo, the bomber. I don't see him. Is he not in here? I don't think he's in here, because this is the gunship. Oh, sorry, let me scroll down. This is the gunship. This is the torpedo attack one. This is the fighter. This is the sonar one. Where is he? I don't see him. I think they missed him. My poor seaplane bomber. Not the dam buster. What's he called? The tsunami. Maybe I'm blind, but I don't see a tsunami in here. Okay, so we're going to put in like a substitute for the tsunami. We're going to pretend... Do we do... Okay. The tsunami. S+ tier. This is the substitute for the tsunami, okay? All right, for anybody who's looking at this like, what the hell is this Leviathan doing up here? It's like, no, that's not a Leviathan. That's a tsunami. This unit is incredible. Its ability to absolutely nuke buildings, I mean, as I've covered in a recent video, is incredible. Right now, all units can do, or all units can do that if you've got enough of them. The fact is, with the tsunami, you don't need a lot of them to be able to do that. You can do that with the T2 bomber, but the barrier to entry on the T2 units is so much higher than the T1.5, the seaplanes. So because of that, because the barrier to entry on the seaplanes is so low, it increases the strength of the tsunami, because you can unlock it a lot sooner than what you can unlock T2 units. And because of that, that's what makes it so good. Now, there's a brief window where the seaplanes are by far the best units in the game. Normally about like that up to 10-minute mark. I feel like the seaplanes should probably be nerfed, but we'll talk more about that in another video. For the moment, that's where that's going to remain. So this is your tsunami. We're also going to put the seaplane swarmer. I think that there's a part of me that is tempted to put this in S+ tier, but we're not. We're just going to put it in the S tier for now. Incredible fighter, faster than the T1. You can get a lot of them out. You can get them out quickly. They will lose to the T2 fighters, but they are more spammable. So that's definitely it. The hardest thing that you've got is it's very hard to scale BP, build power to build these, because you have to build the lab on water, and then you have to build the con turrets. I mean, you can technically build the con turrets on water as well, but they're a bit more expensive. So ideally, you don't want to do that. But yeah, that is essentially it. We've also got the torpedo gunship, which is another really good unit. Just very good for taking back water. If you need to spam it. I'm not going to put it in the A tier. I might throw it in the B tier because it is quite niche. Gunship will also put there because it is niche. It's powerful as well. That's the other thing. It's got a really powerful shot. And then we've also got the radar plane, which I guess we can throw into A tier just because it's, well, it tells you where everything is. So I think that's pretty much it when it comes to the seaplanes. Yeah, I don't think there's anything else down here with regard to seaplanes. Now we can get into the good stuff. We can get to the T2 and start talking about what is super good to make, what is not super good to make. So we're going to start off, instead of doing it from like left to right over here, I'm just going to look for like the best units that are bots that we can make and talk about them. So let us start with... Do we start with the sharpshooter? I think we can start with the sharpshooter. That's got to be an S tier. So let's bring it all the way up here to the front. Not quite S+ tier. The reason why I'm a fan of the sharpshooter is because of its ability to be microed. All right, it can go stealth. It can be microed. It only really loses to one unit, which will be in the S+ tier. At least at the T2 level, right? Like it loses to a whole bunch of T3 units. But it's also very good against T3 units, right? If I see my enemies making marauders and they're going to be attacking me, I can drop a T2 lab. I can get a whole bunch of snipers out very quickly, and they can effectively deal with things. They can deal with Krogoth. They can deal with Titans. They can deal with battle mechs. They can deal with pretty much everything when it's pushing. And as long as you've got Junos to make sure that they don't have problems with ticks or fleas, you're going to be okay. And that's part of the reason why I absolutely love this unit. So yeah, that is, when it comes to bots, I think that's probably going to be your S tier here. There's probably an argument that you could make that maybe the Fat Boy should even be in S tier as well. The Fat Boy has like seen a massive surge in power in recent times, so there's a part of me that kind of wants to put, you know what, I'm gonna do it. It's got a lot of presence in the middle of the map. Speaking of presence, have a look at this right here as we push in. Yeah, try and stop that with your 8 Tiger tanks, mate. So yeah, it's got the ability to really control the middle, and we're starting to see this more and more. Even in the high OS lobbies, we're starting to see the Fat Boy coming out, even from the eco player. Like, the eco player will make a Fat Boy, will send it up to mid, and it is incredibly powerful. It's difficult to stop. It will defeat Mousers, it will defeat Quakers. The only thing that will stop it are snipers and starlights. So it very much forces your opponent to react to it, and there's only very specific things that they can do. Like, it will kill a Banisher, it will kill pretty much, it'll kill everything from core. So yeah, it is it's a powerful unit. Next up, we are gonna go into the Sprinter. Just a hilarious unit. It's not very expensive. The only real circumstance that you can use the Sprinter is if there is a raid and it's a T1 raid. I've seen people spamming Sprinters into commanders, and it's just not a good idea. There is a world where I want to kind of meme and make like 50 Sprinters and see if I can run them past the enemy in the middle. I haven't tried it yet, just because I don't want to throw my games, and you know, I kind of want to win. But yeah, it's a unit that you typically want to avoid out of the T2. Another unit that you want to avoid out of the T2 at pretty much all costs is the Archangel, this bad boy right here. It's okay, right? Like, don't get me wrong, if you've got nothing else, like no other labs and no real build power to deconstruct things or reconstruct things, then it makes sense to be able to make it, right? But the projectile speed, as well as the overall damage of the unit, it's comparable to the T2 vehicles. There's a real reason why you'd want to avoid this, because the T2 vehicles is on a whole nother level, which we'll talk about when we get to it. Another unit that is disappointingly low on the tier list is the Gunslinger. It's a unit that, and it's quite funny because I actually make this unit a fair bit from eco. So the only thing that this is really good against is T1 units. But the trouble is, Geo in the current meta gets its units out very quickly. Mousers at 5 minutes, 6 minutes. So I can fly down my Maverick at 4 minutes and 20 seconds. I can do that every single game for you. You can get to the front line 4 minutes 30. But by 5 minutes, there's Mousers shooting at it. So it's like, even when I'm trying to hold the front, then the Mousers start attacking it. So it's like, you had a window of like 30 seconds to do your work, brother, and that was it. And now it's been shut down. So it's really, really dependent on how good the enemy Geo player is. And as long as they're competent, they've got a good build, they'll have Mousers attacking it very, very soon. And because of that, it really reduces the strength of the unit. Now, a unit that I absolutely love, and I'm tempted to put in a higher tier. The only reason why I'm not doing it, you know what? I kind of want to do it. Let's throw it in the A tier. It's the Pelican, or the Platypus, rather. This unit is incredible. It's amazing because it allows you to turn the tide of battle with a T2 lab, or a T2 bot lab, over on the seas. And the best thing about it is you can actually win games with this unit. It's like the Marauder Light. That's the best way I like to think about it. It's got its own anti-air. It can go across water easily. It can fight on water if you want it to fight on water. But most importantly, it's very good at raiding. And that's because if the shurikens try and come and get you, you're going to be able to shut them down quickly. If gunships try and come and shut you down, you're able to stop them. Stilettos, you can stop them. You're able to be sort of immune to these raids when they come in. And that's part of the reason why I like them. They're also really good in low numbers or good in high numbers, right? Like, I think in this game, I made 5 Pelicans. And all I did was I just cleared out the enemy radar so that I could get my tumbleweeds across. And from there, I look to go into the enemy Beach Sea player's base and just kill all their mexes, kill all their base. That's pretty much it. But I've had games where I've killed the enemy Geo player with just 5 Pelicans. By the same token, I've had games where I've made like 50 Pelicans and just Platypus and just won the game. They used to be called Pelicans back in Total Annihilation, which is the original game. But yeah, it is a super duper powerful unit. And you can... they're quick. That's the other thing to note, is they're very, very quick, and you can just outmaneuver the enemy quite easily with them. If you go somewhere and you see that there are There's defenders there. You can very easily move. You've got lots of different ways that you can skeet around and avoid the enemy. We'll also do the radars. We can actually get all of the radars out of the way right now. I think we'll just throw them in A tier. The only exception here, so we'll throw both the jammer and the radar bot into A tier just because they're very good. We'll throw this one in as well. It's a vehicle, even though I know we said we weren't going to do vehicles yet. Let us throw this one in as well. The only exception I'm going to make here is to the Naval radar jammer, which is just absolutely broken. Let's put it in S+ tier. You know what? Not S+ tier. We'll just put it in S tier. It needs to be nerfed. The radius on this is so big. It's ridiculous, man. It's like triple the area that this one jams. Like it's I don't know how. I don't know why. It needs to be nerfed. I'll just say that much. What else have we got when it comes to units for the T2 bots? We've got the Hound. Now the Hound used to be a really strong unit. People used to love the Hound. People used to go crazy for the Hound. But the Hound has fallen off a lot. They changed it so that it lost access to its ability to cycle through its weapons. There's basically one niche circumstance for the Hound at the moment that I've found that I actually like it for quite a bit. So we're just going to put it in the C tier for the moment. And that is if the enemy does a comm drop. And you know how, like, the enemy will do a comm drop and the commander's down there and people are like, hey, like, they're pinging it, but no one's doing anything. The Hound allows you to actually answer the comm drop. All you need is one Hound. A single Hound, and you can kite the enemy commander, and as long as you bring a radar bot, he'll never degun you, and you just keep them spaced out enough, and you'll eventually kill the commander. And that's pretty much what you want, right? You just want to be able to kill the commander. Obviously, if there's more urgency, then you can go into 2 or 3. And then the best part is you can just reclaim them once you're finished. So that's something that I've been really working on. You can see we've got a nice little battle that's beginning to unfold here with the T3. We've got some Titans, some good well-timed Titan defense over here. As we've obviously taken out quite a bit of eco on the enemy side. They've got their pink player now who's doing this. And one of the things to note when you're microing Titans, let me see if I can get my icons going here, is you always want to set target on a single Titan. And what you want to do is you want to kite with your own Titans. You want to move back so that you're only focusing on that one Titan. And then any low health Titans that you've got, you want to pull them back and send them over to your nanos so that they can go be repaired. Really, really important thing to do. And you'll see me doing that through this game. But we'll talk about Titans a little bit later on. Let us move back to the tier list because we've got a couple more ARM T2 units to go through here. We're 36 minutes into this game. So what else have we got? We've got the Recluse. We'll throw it in... there's a part of me that wants to kind of throw it in the B tier, but I'm thinking maybe the C tier. This unit did used to be quite decent before I was... well, probably like in the last couple months, but it did get nerfed, and because of that, it's not as strong, it's not as prevalent. You used to kind of see it spammed. Not the case anymore. So the use case for it is quite niche, I would say. I think that maybe there's a couple of worlds where you could drop it and try and get it into the enemy backline. But realistically, on the front, it's just outmatched by things like Mausers, Quakers, so not really a whole lot of use there. We also have the Tumbleweed. Now, Tumbleweed, it's a bit of an awkward one. There's a part of me that wants to put it really high. There's a part of me that wants to put it towards the mid, and I think we will put it towards the middle, in the middle of BTR. It is a unit that, if your enemy is not prepared for, you can win games with. There have been games where I've just rolled 15 Tumbleweeds into the enemy their backline, their Geo, and I've taken out 3 players. And the game just ends right there. So that's something that you can definitely do. But to actually do that, you need a lot of things going right. It's kind of like the Pincer in that regard. You need to make sure your enemy doesn't have any sonar. So you need to clear out all their sonars. You need to make sure that they don't have any defenses on the line. Because remember that you're not cloaked with the Tumbleweed. It can be attacked by beamers. So if they have anything prepped, you have to move elsewhere. And then if you move elsewhere, you're going to get spammed at. So you do have to be quite cautious with how you use them. And they are... very niche in that regard. You can't just sort of spam them and hope that they come out on top. And then we've got the, I think, is it the Ghost? I'm not 100% sure on this. Another really niche unit. I think this is actually quite good. There are some great strategies that you can utilize. As an example, the nuke attack. You can do very well with the Ghost. And its ability to neutralize things, like, it's not just anti-nuke silos, or, yeah, anti-nuke silos? Yeah, anti-nuke silos. That you can neutralize, right? It's units that you can neutralize. If the enemy's got a difficult unit to deal with, you can come up there and immediately EMP stun it. You can strategically place them so that when marauders come in, you can boom, boom, boom. You can also just use them for line of sight. So there's a lot of options for you. So even putting them in the B tier, I feel like you're kind of hard done by. I'm going to throw you in the A tier. And we do need to bring this down just a little bit more so we can see all of this lovely space. Okay, next unit we've got coming up, it is going to be the Zeus. What is it? What's it called now? I can't remember what it's called now. I I'm somewhat tempted to throw it in the A tier, but once again, this is one of those units where the role that it serves is it's a beefy frontline unit. And you don't really have anything else to do that, right? Like, you've got the Fat Boy, but even the Fat Boy's a different use case. The idea is that you want to spam these guys, and they are very good at that. If you want a unit to spam and to stop the enemy from attacking you, then this is it. They can stop T3 in their tracks. They just get in their way. They're fat. They've got a big model. And that's part of the reason why I actually really like this unit. The next one we've got is the EMP. I think it's the Weber, this guy right here. So it can EMP, it can reclaim. Once again, very niche use case. So I'm going to throw it in the B tier just because it's not used a whole bunch. I'm sure in higher OS it definitely could be used quite a bit. But in around my level, like you can see in this video, we're 34 OS, so we're quite low OS in relation to super duper high OS stuff. So even at this point, right, like I would rather just drop a T1 lab and spam Lazarus because they can repair and they reclaim pretty damn quickly. Okay, next up, let's talk a little bit about vehicles. We got some good vehicles to go through. Let's just start it off with the Starlight, S+ tier. This unit literally is overpowered. I can tell you right now, absolutely overpowered. There's no counter to this unit until you reach T3, right? Like, there is nothing you can do if your enemy starts making Starlights. Often we think about, like, this counter system, right? Like, okay, my enemy is pushing me with ticks. Okay, so what am I going to do? I'm going to make I'm going to make peewees, and then or grunts, and then the grunts. Oh, my enemy's got grunts, so I'm going to make laser turrets, and then the laser turrets come up, and it's like, okay, now I'm going to make rocketeers, and they're going to defeat the laser turrets. So here we've got some good micro that you should be able to see. Hopefully, we zoom in a little bit more on it as we try and scout out what the enemy's up to. So we want to try and focus down the one unit at a time. But yeah, essentially, the Starlight has got no counter available to it early on. It does have a T3 counter in both the arm and the core. You can build the Vanguard, you can build the Catapult. They will absolutely destroy it. But like the Big Bertha doesn't do it. The pop-up turrets won't do it. The pop-up plasma artillery will not do it. Persecutor does not do it. It can easily be beaten, can easily be defeated. Not even close. It is just in a whole world of its own. The only real way to beat this unit is to outplay the player who has got them, so to wait for them to make a mistake to get out of position. That's pretty much it. Or to a point where they've got no energy. That's another way that you can beat them, so if they're not firing. But they are just one of the most powerful units in the game. The Starlight is arguably the best unit in the game. It is so meta-defining once they're out. People, it's just like, what do you do? Once the Starlights are out, like, we've got nothing that we can fall back on. So that is... yeah, just an incredibly powerful unit. Another really powerful unit, affordable, also meta-defining, is the Mauser. So we're going to throw this up in the S tier. It's one of these units where it comes out, it does a lot of damage, it has a very high impact, and then it does fall off. Still a strong unit, even towards the mid-game. It's kind of like that spammable unit that just gets out really good broad DPS on enemy spam and on enemy locations, and it's great. It's almost like T2 cannon fodder for your backline. You're hoping that the Mausers get taken out instead of the Starlights. And that's part of the reason why I really like them as well. Maybe not S tier. I will say right now, maybe not S tier, maybe A+ or A tier instead. So there's a part of me that's kind of tempted to put them in A tier. So let's do that. We've also got the Jaguar. We've got so many good units to go through. The Jaguar, we'll have to throw that in A tier as well. I think people are in two minds about this unit and about how good it is, but I will just say right now, the Jaguar, the reason why I love it is because of the combo that you can do. So by itself, it's not that good, but the combination that you can do with this unit is what makes it particularly powerful when you compare it up with the Starlights, and it looks like our bombing run here is probably not going to be that successful. Unfortunately, the enemy anti-air is a little bit powerful. We kind of went a bit too far. We wanted to come around for the eco player. Not able to get him, unfortunately. So, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. But yeah, with the Jaguar, it's great to pair it with. So I like to do like the Tick together with the Starlight, together with the Jaguar, and it is just a complete powerhouse. It is a crazy combination. So we'll throw it in the A tier just because by itself, it's really not that amazing. It does need assistance. We've got the... Ooh, I can't remember the exact name of this unit right here. Stealth Tank, Gremlin. There we go, we got it. Another one that's very, very niche. You don't see it a lot, but it does have potential, right? Like, I've seen people sneak 5 of these into a backline and kill an Aphis. I've seen people sneak 5 of these into a backline and kill an anti-nuke and then nuke. I've seen people just use one of these on the front to act as their scout for their Starlights or for their Merles, which is the rocket firing vehicle. So it's definitely got its use cases, but once again, it's very, very niche. Something that you don't really see a whole lot of. Now, this might be a bit controversial. I'm not a huge fan of this unit, the Bull. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I feel like you just don't need it from the perspective of arm. It just, especially when you compare it to the core component, the core one, the Reaper. I don't remember what it's called in bar. You'll have to forgive me. It just doesn't feel anywhere near as strong, as competent, as quick. I don't even think it's as cheap as it. And it's just like, anytime I feel like I want to make these, I just feel like there's a better answer. If there's T1 spam coming in, I'm going to make Jaguars. If there's T2 units that I got to deal with, like Banishers, or the enemy's got their own T2 tanks, I'm going to make Starlights, right? Like, the cases that I make these are so damn rare, it just doesn't feel like I need them. And because of that, it's hard to justify even giving them a B position. I'm kind of tempted to go down to C, but just because I know there will be people that'll be like, hey man, no, those are good. Like, you shouldn't be dissing them that hard. We'll do it for this one case, and we'll put them up there. Next up, we've got the Shredder. I think it's called the Shredder, or at least it used to be called the Shredder. It's going into S tier. Just such an amazing unit, such an incredible unit. If I see a whole bunch of air on the enemy side, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, should I get into air and try and defeat this enemy with air? And I'm like, no. Then what I'm going to do is just drop a vehicle lab, a T2 vehicle lab, and I'm going to spam out like 30 of these bad boys. And we are just going to drop them all over the map. When I say drop them over the map, we're just going to move them all over our side. And bro, these things are insane. They are insane. The AoE together with the movement speed, together with the range on them, the fact that their projectile is almost instant, they are so damn good. And because of that, it is just like, if you're thinking about making T2, like there are games where I don't even make the pork or like it used to be called the Cobra or the Flakka. I can't remember what it's called now. But the anti-air defense for T2. I don't even make them anymore. I'm just like, just drop a T2 vehicle lab, throw those bad boys out there, and they will do the job easily. By the same token, one of the things I will also say right here, right now, is that the T2 anti-air ship also is just as good, but for water. Like, you just want to... If you have one water on your side and the enemy's got any kind of air presence and you're a bit fearful that maybe they might come, spam them out. Spam them out. Just get them coverage. They are incredible. Next up, we've got the Merle, or the Diplomat, or the Ambassador, I think it's called. Niche case unit, which is... I will still put it above the Bull. I actually really like this unit, just because it's very good at taking out enemy defenses if they've set up. You put the unit on hold fire because it's got a very long wind up time or reload time, and when it's on hold fire, it's not going to use its shot, and then you can just choose where you want to do it. So you point, you click, and you say, I'm going to target right there, and they take it out. You know, 2 of these will take out a Persecutor, which is just, you know, incredibly powerful. So even just getting 1 of them out is a great way to annoy the enemy. 2 is a great way to push. So often, like, you'll see the enemy will put like Persecutors up here, and what you can do is just get 2 or 3 of the Ambassadors and just annihilate that position completely. There's really nothing that they can do about it, and because of that, it's quite decent. There's a part of me that really wants to lift it higher than B, but we'll call it B for now. Next up, we have got the Umbrella. I got a bit of a love-hate relationship with this unit. I'll say it right now. There's one reason why I don't want to rate it that highly. We'll throw it in A tier just because it's an anti-nuke unit. Anti-nuke's kind of cool. It's good because it is immune. On this map in particular, it is immune from the Ghost. So if someone comes in and tries to EMP you, and this bad boy is patrolling up in the middle, because often that's where it's going to be. It's going to be up over here. Sorry, let me try and zoom out. So it's going to be up here patrolling. You can't be EMP'd, so it's great from that perspective. But I will just say it is a little bit buggy. I've seen games where someone has been nuked, where they had this guy patrolling back and forth, and unfortunately, things did not go well. Are we gonna have to do a Lua reset? Give me a sec here. Lua UI reload. Sometimes we get this white box on our screen, so you'll have to forgive me. There we go. Can we follow ourselves? I think we're about to win the game anyway. We've got so many Titans in their base. We've scattered our eco a little bit here. You can see us repairing up these Titans at the back. But speaking of T3, I mean, we can speak a little bit about T3 right now. I think this game's about to end. So do I just bring you guys into full screen? Do we just sit down and have a full screen chat right here? Give me a sec. I'm gonna try and turn it over onto full screen. Let's hit this button right here, and then... Yeah, I mean, you guys know what happens in the end. So, we'll close that one out. We could just talk about these guys. We'll even let's reduce that music. Oh, the team literally enemy team just left. So as you can see, we're all done over here. We're gonna turn this music down. We're gonna turn this volume down, and we're just gonna tab back in over here and talk a little bit about the end of this, because we're 49 minutes into this, so we can get through this. Marauder, S+ tier. No way, it's not. It is just incredibly powerful. Your ability to raid, to hit, and to win games with this unit is just better than any other unit in the game, right? Like, you can... It's funny, because I used to just do like a 20 Marauder raid, and it would get shut down, and you'd be like, damn. And then you'd keep playing. You know what I do now? I do like a 50 Marauder timing at like 23 minutes. Bro, the amount of people who... Like, if I make it to 23 minutes, the game is just over. Because it is so rare that it gets stopped. I think in this game, it may have got stopped, but we still did damage, right? Like, by far, like, we won the game in that single point. Now I remember, because we took out the air player. I think we took out the geo player as well. So we did a lot of damage with that. By the same token, Razorback, really strong unit. Going to be going in S tier here, just because of its ability to stop the Marauder. If you see that your enemy's making Marauders, boom, Razorback. Get 5, 6 of them out on that flank. You throw another 3 up the top side, and you're covered. This guy's incredibly good at kiting as well. And then just in general, like, for pushing the front, very nice, but do be careful of snipers. They will take you out, but do be careful of the penetrators or the starlights. They will take you out, so you do need to be cautious of that, but just a very good unit as well. Great at dealing with spam. Next up, we've got the Thor. Has fallen out of favor a lot. You don't really see this unit anywhere near as much as what you used to. And just simply because, why do I need a Thor? What purpose does the Thor serve? Maybe pushing like a really strong, powerful position that's got a whole bunch of pork. Maybe that's the one use case for it, but even then, you don't really see it. So I'm going to lower it down into C tier. Let's talk about the Titan, because the Titan is S+ tier as well. You want to win games in the super late game, don't go for the Krogoth, or don't go for the Juggernaut, go for the Titan. The Titan is the king, and that is because it's quick. It has the ability to move a lot faster than the Krogoth. It's great at winning water. So let's say your enemy has 1 water. Like in that game, we saw the red player 1 water. So what did I do? I went to 5 Titans. Then I tried to push him off the water. Then he had 5 Titans, or at least his pink player had 5 Titans. So what did we do? We waited until we had 10 Titans, and then we pushed him off the water. It is like the supreme water pushing unit in the game, full stop, and it's just very good for pushing, and it's just incredibly powerful. They're half the price, less than half the price of a Juggernaut, and because of that, they're less immune to D-gun, etc., or more immune to D-gun, I should probably say. Then we've got the T3 Hoverbot. I will just say, just probably don't make it. The one game that I did actually make these, and I was like, okay, I was sitting on like 6 APHIS, okay? I had a T3 lab. I was spamming out these units together with a whole bunch of like T1 hovercrafts, and just like spamming them across the ocean. And I was having so much trouble clearing out his ships. I was like, why am I even doing this? Like, I should just be waiting for Juggernauts. I think I even lost that game because of the momentum loss. I fed him a lot of metal. He was able to like push back. So I would just say, for the most part, avoid this unit. Don't be making is it the Lunkhead? I think it is. Yeah, really not worth it. Next up, we've got the Vanguard T3 artillery unit. It's going to be going up here just because it is very much a meta breaker in the sense that if your opponent's got starlights, if they've got snipers, if they've got if they've got a whole bunch of pop-up cannons, you can very easily deal with those threats here with the Vanguard. Powerful, good on offense, good on defense. You do need to be cautious with using it. If the enemy is spamming into you, they will friendly fire. So you do need to be cautious about that. But overall, a really powerful unit. And one of the things that I will do, like normally I will say about the 19-minute mark, I'll make my last APHIS, at least in the early game. And so normally that'll be about like 4 or 5 APHIS. And then from there, I'll go into T3. And the first thing I'll do is I'll go into 3 battle mechs. That's just in case the enemy's going to do Marauders. From there, after the 3 battle mechs, I will go into 3 Vanguards. And I will send them to the front. And then from there, I'll go into like 50 Marauders and try and attack the enemy over to the side. And then from there, reclaim the lab, then go back into APHIS. And that's essentially how I play it out. So I find that they're really helpful to get up towards the front. Other than that, we've also got the decoy commander down here. I don't ever see a use for a decoy commander, but I'm probably wrong. We've also got, what else have we got in here? T2 aircraft units. We've got the nuke bomber. Kind of tempted to put this in the S+ tier. Probably not. I think we'll just go with the S tier for the moment. This unit is very powerful. Its ability to just wipe out an entire area of the map. What this unit is, to me, is like an ambush unit. It stays within the fog of war, and you don't know where it's going to come out. It could come out on the top C or on GOC. It could come out on beach C. It could hit in the front. It could try and come around the side and snipe out the enemy or snipe out the Geo player. There's so many ways that it can hit you, and that's where it really succeeds in like this stealth aspect. It needs to be supported. It has to be supported with other with fighters to make sure that it doesn't get taken out, because it is fragile. It will go down quickly. But if it can get its load off, it will do a huge amount of damage. Great for comm sniping, just generally really good and very. It's fragile, but at the same time, it's very maneuverable compared to like the bomber. Like the normal T2 bomber, which by the way, just don't make them. Once again, it's one of those things where it's, yeah, you can make it, but ask for a core constructor, please. Okay, the Hurricane, so much better than the Blizzard. So yeah, really try and do that. And then what else have we got? We got gunships. Rare that you make them, rare that you need them, but still, you know, they shoot. They shoot. We can say that much. Is it B? Maybe it's C tier. You know what? We'll put that in the B tier, and then we'll put this bad boy in the C tier, because this one, it's like twice the metal cost, maybe even 3 times the metal cost. It's absurd. This is just like the Speedy one. I think it's got a higher DPS, but man, the amount of times I see these is incredibly low. Just not effective at all. We've got the Night Winds. Once again, if you're going to make T2 air, ideally you want to ask for the core constructor and make the T2 lab for core. But let's say if you're running like the nuke bomber strat and your air is not really supporting you, or maybe you're playing air and you've got the arm constructor, then yeah, for sure, make high winds instead of making the core ones. It can definitely work, and you know, they'll still be able to fight toe-to-toe, but over time you will lose out to the core ones, so just keep that in mind. Stiletto, some people don't like this unit. I like this unit. I think this unit is a clutch AF unit, so I'm putting it in the A tier just from the fact that, okay, let's say it's 22 minutes. You made 3 battle mechs, and you're like, that should be enough to hold off the Marauders, but there's actually like 40 Marauders, and it's clear that you're not going to be able to do that. So what can you do? You can drop down a T2 lab immediately from ARM, air lab, and just start spamming stilettos. Go up to like 10 stilettos. And all you're going to do is you're going to grab a stiletto and then keep selecting the stiletto and just trying to target the Marauders. Constantly targeting the Marauders, trying to hit all of the Marauders. And that's it. Typically, you do see them group up, and even if they don't group up, you can still hit those 1, those 2 that make it kind of deep. So a really good tool to be able to deal with that. Other than that, like, you can kind of use them to break front. You can use them on the water as well. Not as effective, but like for me, that's the main thing. It probably shouldn't be in A tier. I'm going to throw it in B tier just because it's a bit more of a niche circumstance. I do like them. And then we've got the radar, which we'll just throw in the A tier because it's obviously radar. Actually, this is a particularly good aircraft. This is so damn powerful. To be honest, I'm kind of tempted to put the Horizon up there as well, just because I feel like they are so much better than their land counterparts, just because they're quick, and they've also got the sonar, which is great. Great if you want to find commanders, great if you want to see stuff. Really, really important. And then finally, we've got the Abductor, just such a weird unit, but it's also in that same sort of vein as the Stiletto. Like, you can make abductors and stun enemy raids that are coming through. You can be really annoying with these units, but yeah, typically you don't see a whole lot of them coming out. They're quite rare. I think some people really enjoy them a lot more than others. So yeah, that's it. Other than that, our final unit of the day that we're going to be talking about here is the Flagship, because I feel like I'm actually qualified to talk about this because it's one of the units that I interact with a lot, both on my team, people make it, and on the enemy team, the enemy makes it. So let's talk a little bit about why or when the flag is good or when it's bad. So I'll just start off by saying the flag costs a lot of metal, 20,000 or 21,000 metal, depending on which side you're on. That's a huge amount of metal. After you've won C, right? Like, I'm kind of tempted to just go into a game just to talk about this, because this is a real sticking point that I've got, and some people agree and some people disagree. So this might be a hot take. Maybe it's a whole nother video for itself, but I'll try and be as succinct and as quick as I possibly can. Let's say that you win C. Congratulations. Let's throw out your time 10 minutes, okay? At 10 minutes, you've won your C. We're taking a bit of time in here. We've got 43 nodes coming in. So what do you do? And if your answer is, I'm going to upgrade everything to T2 and then I'm going to build a flag, I feel like that's the wrong answer. By the way, why is this taking so long? Okay, there we go. We're finally here. So you start let's say you start GOC. All right, congratulations. You fought this angle right here. Eventually, you're able to beat back the enemy. Maybe you even won the island. Wonderful. And you're able to beat them back. They are completely off the water now. They are absolutely off the water. So what do you do at this point? And so most people will say, well, I'm going to go from here. I'm going to like do T2. And then I'm going to upgrade this mechs. And in fact, I'm gonna upgrade all of these mexes here, which is, that's a good decision. Okay, I accept that. They say, okay, maybe I'm gonna get a missile ship out and I'm gonna attack the Geo. That's definitely a good idea as well. And then I'm gonna get a flagship out, and then I'm gonna kill this guy, and I'm gonna kill this guy, and I'm gonna try and attack any wins that are over here, and I might get through over to pond a little bit, and I'm gonna be able to control the front, and that's great. The trouble is that a flag comes out, like, it takes a while. Unless you're getting fed metal, like, the flags are gonna be coming out 22, 23 minutes. It's gonna take some time to get you there. I've seen 17-minute flags, but they're all fed, which means that your team is contributing metal to get you out faster. But here's the reason why I don't like the flag. Because a strong commander in this position will make sure that his commander is at the very least alive or is able to be rezzed. And then what he's going to do is he's going to get a jammer, put it right here. He doesn't even need the jammer. He's going to come up and he's going to degun this player. This player is going to be dead because that was a spicy Geo, and he has just died. This player here is already dead. You just killed him in the water. So what does a flagship do? It kills this guy. It maybe hits a little bit of wind over here. It maybe does a little bit of damage to pond. And it clears out the front. But that's it. What if I told you there's a better way? What if I told you that instead of making a flagship, that you could use the T2 lab to make platypus? You can bring those guys out. So basically, the T2 lab, you can build a constructor in it, and the assistant constructor can come over here with some nanos and build a whole bunch of platypus and come in and attack this angle or attack this angle. You can completely wipe out front if you want. Come around to pond, be annoying, do something stupid like that, or you can just go into the back line. I've seen people attack at like the 14, 15 minute mark. I've had to defend. There's one player who's like 60 OS and he does it all the time. And what he will do is he will win this C. Commander comes in at like 9 minutes, deguns your T2 lab, deguns your Geo if you haven't upgraded it, or even if you have upgraded it, he'll do it. I've seen one game where he repaired someone was building their Geo. I was spectating the game. He was building the Geo. He saw the commander, so he stopped building it, and then he assisted. So the guy that was attacking him assisted to build the Geo, completed the advanced Geo, and then degunned it, killing everything. And I was like, this guy's just on a whole nother level. And so this player's dead. This guy's dead. You just beat him off the sea, and then all he does from there is go into a whole bunch of platypus and sends them through this angle. And now what happens is, because Geo's dead, there's no more T2 units coming to front. Because he's come through at the back, he's able to hit this front player, and pond together. So the front completely collapses. And that just allows everyone to come through and win the game. I've also seen when he has actually faced a strong Geo player here, where the commander hasn't been able to get the degun off because there's been a beamer here, a beamer here, a beamer here. What he's done is he's gone and done Pelicans, but gone around into the back line. If you think about the Pelican, if you talk about like 50, 60 Pelicans at 15 minutes, there's not much that can stop that, right? Like, this guy is still building his fusions. This guy over here just got over to T2 on his air lab, right? Like, there's not a lot that can get back here. Here on Geo, let's say you've got these beamers up. What units are you going to make to deal with 50, 60 platypus? There's not a lot that you can do. On top of that, if you're playing core, you can just go into salamanders instead. So in my mind, the most sense is to almost always be going into salamanders and platypus, at least initially, right? Like, if you can't get the degun off here, then that's fine. Go into platypus, go into salamander, see if you can try and get that combo. And then if you can't, that's when you say, okay, now I'm going to fall back. Now I'm going to get the flag out. And now I'm going to go for that. And then behind that flag, often you see people just stack up a whole bunch of Aphis over here because they've got all of this metal that's just contributing into them. There's got so many different mexes. We rarely see seaplanes coming out here. There used to be something popular Snooper used to do. We don't see that as much anymore. But that's the main way, or that's the main thing. So I'm going to say, look, the flag is a great unit, but I think people often fall into the trap of using the flag the same way. Like, we were talking about the traps of, what unit was it? There was a trap of a unit earlier that we were talking about, the Stumpy. And I feel like it's the exact same thing, right? So don't get me wrong. I like the flag. I think it's a good unit. I think it's strong. But I also feel like there are better opportunities earlier for people to make a dent in the enemy and to win the game earlier, but they go to the flag because it's like, hey, I can just make a flag and then I don't have to think. It's like, bro, if I scout this flag is coming up and I'm Geo and I held with beamers here, do you know what I do? I literally make 1, 2, 3 little defensive bubbles, and that's it. I don't have to think about you for the rest of the game. I just laugh at you. And then I bring up a whole bunch of snipers on hold fire and I destroy your flag at like the 20-minute mark. So it's just... Well, probably not the 20-minute mark, probably like the 25-minute mark, whenever you get your flag out at a reasonable time. So that's essentially it. That's my mindset. That's my thinking. I don't think there's any other units in here that I really want to rate. yeah, I think this is pretty much it. So that's pretty much where we stand. Keep in mind, this right here is the Tsunami, because we don't actually have the Tsunami. That's the Seaplane Bomber. Just an incredible unit. We've got the Lazarus, the Tick, the Tsunami, the Penetrator or the Starlight, and the Marauder, as well as the Titan, all in that top tier. And then in the bottom tier, we've got the Arm Bomber, Never Make It, the Decoy Commander, and the Sprinter. I mean, once again, the Sprinter is one of those things where it's like, you know what? There is like a niche use for it. So I am thinking maybe it could be a C tier unit, just because it's like, it does exist, right? Like, you still will make Sprinters if there's a raid that comes through. If there's a Hovercraft raid, we'll give him C tier. We'll give him C tier. You're not quite D tier there, Mr. Sprinter. Not with the Arm Bomber or the Decoy Commander. But anyway, we'll leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this 1 hour and 5 minute video. And of course, we'll catch you in the next one.